Hello, and welcome back to another episode of Wild Vittles. I gotta get moving, because time always seems to be against me. But today's episode, I was, dollop that in there. I was trying to come up with a new recipe, and I was watching YouTube videos, as I do, and came across a King Ranch recipe. And I love King Ranch casserole. And then it hit me, this moment. Oh, why don't I do a wild game King Ranch casserole? Brilliant. I know, that's what you're saying. You're like, genius. All right. So, I'm trying to scramble and get this done. This was a late night epiphany. So I sent out my ground meat last night, did my fast thaw, like I tell you guys about all the time, and made up my own recipe. I looked at a bunch of different recipes and came up with what I'll call Chris's concoction. And I've never made this. It may be an abject failure, but I don't care. I'm going to try it. So what I'm starting with in this King Ranch casserole, and I'll explain a little bit what King Ranch casserole is. What I've thrown into the skillet is 1 white onion, 1 bell pepper, and 2 jalapeños that are all kind of diced. And we're going to get these kind of sauteed. I've got a little bit of olive oil in the pan. King Ranch casserole is a Texas thing. It's kind of a southern Texas thing. And some people say that it has to do with King Ranch, which is a huge friggin' ranch, bigger than Rhode Island is what I've heard. And that, this was a casserole used to feed the ranch hands. I've also heard that's complete bullshit. And that this is just something that some southern Texas ladies came up with as good casseroles. I do know that Lady Bird Johnson, the First Lady, had this made in the White House in the kitchen. So I've had it actually in Georgetown, which is a small town just outside of Austin, at the Monument Cafe. If you've never been to the Monument Cafe, do yourself a favor and go there. It makes me want to run a cafe. It's impressive too. It's a big place. It looks like a cafe. It's like all stucco. A bazillion servers in there, and in the back you can see back there them cooking. And it's one of these traditional cafes that runs from I don't know what time in the morning, probably 6:30 or something, till 2 or 3. And they serve breakfast and lunch. And I think breakfast is probably all day. But they have King Ranch casserole there, and that's where I first came across it. And I was like, this stuff is awesome. So I'm going to turn that up a bit to 7. I generally cook on 6. So we're going to try this. This is experimentation. Because if you do the same damn thing over and over again, you're never going to end up with anything new. And I'm always looking for something new. In the back of my mind, I do worry about this being very similar to my John Wayne casserole. But that is meat, beans, and cream and mushroom soup. And this is not. So I'll just quickly kind of run through what all I've got in this. So again, the jalapeños, red bell peppers, only red bell because I'm trying to make it look visually appealing, because you could do green, yellow, orange, or whatever. The onion, because the onion's a base in everything. And I use white because it's kind of traditional for Mexican and southern Texas recipes to use white, but you could use yellow. I wouldn't use red, but I'd use yellow. Additionally in here, let's see, I made myself a list. Oh, I'm going to put in some garlic, chili powder, cumin, salt and pepper. I'm going to add some chipotles and adobo. It's going to have cream of jalapeno soup, which you can get at your grocery store, at least you can in Texas at H-E-B, and cream mushroom soup. Again, the chipotle and adobo and rotel. And this is going to go into a casserole dish. I'm using a 9x13 casserole dish. I'm going to layer in there, kind of like a lasagna, tostadas, this mix, cheese, tostadas, this mix, and then layer on top cheese. And hopefully, 40 minutes later, I have a beautiful, beautiful dish. And I don't know, casseroles seem kind of like something from the 1950s, but it's handy for the way that I live my life, because it's like I can put those things away. It makes a great meal, makes a great lunch the next day. You can freeze part of it. Good party dish. So come on, try a casserole. That is looking beautiful. All right. I'm going to pour that back in just to kind of hold it, and let's see if Chris burns himself or spills a bunch of it. It's something I tend to do. Don't spill. I spilled a little bit there. There should be like a pour spout on this stuff. But you know, what is it? Close enough. Hand grenades and horseshoes and all that. And it doesn't have to be cleaned out. There can be a little bit of stuff left in there, but oh, that's pretty. All right, now we're going to put this meat in here. Why don't I, while I'm doing this, I'm going to make use of my unproductive time and mix in some of these spices while this finishes browning. So we're going to I'll do the garlic last. 1.5 tablespoons-ish of chili powder. A lot of them, they say a pound or a tablespoon. I'm like, I want more. I like a lot of spice in everything I do. So we're doing chili powder. All right, that's one. I'm going to do kind of eyeball half in there. That's good. Now we need some cumin. They say a tablespoon of cumin. Most of my other recipes, I generally do like a teaspoon. So I may go a little light on the cumin because that's a lot. Because cumin's pretty powerful, I think. Yeah, that's good. So hopefully I don't get to the end of this and go bleh. First time through, man. All right. What else? Teaspoon of salt, half teaspoon of pepper. I'm almost out of salt. See if I can get a teaspoon out of here. I know a lot of people see, you put like a teaspoon of salt in, they're like, oh my God, dude, you need some salt. Don't be sparing on that salt. Don't do salt free. I get on to my wife. She's always like buying salt free taco seasoning, salt free this and that. I'm like, it might as well be labeled flavor free, I think. Oh, almost got too much in there. Where could I dump this? There we go. Do half a teaspoon of pepper. You don't want to overdo the pepper. It can be a bit much. Kind of like me sometimes. It's what my wife tells me. You're a bit much. All right, I'm going to put some garlic. Oh my God, it's hard. And how many garlic? 2 garlic cloves. Again, I'm cheating. I'm comfortable with that. A teaspoon is a clove, approximately. I know I'm kind of mixing wet and dry ingredients. You might be like, heresy. Unbelievable. My apologies. I'm going to pour back in my beautiful sauteed vegetables. Make sure you get all those because you don't want any of that left out. These are stars of the show, along with co-starring with elk. Could be deer. One of the things everybody ought to know is, look, I know that wild game, I tell you, you have to treat it a little differently, but it doesn't mean you can't put it in normal dishes. Dude, make plain old tacos with ground deer and ground elk. Make hamburger helper. Make spaghetti sauce that you put ground meat into. These are wonderful things. All right, I think my plan is working because my ratio of vegetables to meat does not look freaking off like it does sometimes. All right, I'm putting these dry ingredients. It's sticking because of the, what do you call it? The garlic juice kind of made it clump up a little bit. So what I'm doing now is I put in the dry ingredients. My goal is to get the seasoning, the spices, evenly mixed across this meat, and it should smell like taco. It is not taco, but it should smell like taco. All right, I'm going to reserve some of this crumble, wonderful stuff on top, because I think it'll look cool. So I'm going to get probably like, I don't know, maybe half a cup. I think that'll work. Half a cup. And I'm going to kind of, some of my ground meat was kind of big. I don't know, I can put more in there. I got a quarter cup here. That looks more appropriate. We'll see. I'll have to take a note if I think it was too much, not enough. All right, we're ready for some of our wet ingredients. And we're going to add in, that's all done there, the soups. Now, so let's grab this cream of jalapeno. I've never used this soup before. I saw it being used on a recipe. Whew, I'm smelling that, and it smells good. It's more liquidy than I would have thought. Sometimes some of this cream of mushroom is... Oh, I need to turn this down. We have too much heat. We're going to put that in. Cream of mushroom, cream of jalapeno. And I don't know if I need 2 cans of each of those or 1 of each of those. So I'm going to mix in 1 and take a look at it and see. I was also very conflicted on whether or not to use cream of mushroom or cream of chicken. But some of the better recipes I looked at had actually the fanciest ones. They actually put whole mushrooms in there and saute them like you would the onions. But I'm trying to provide you and me a mix of extremely good food mixed with a little bit of convenience. I'm going to need another spoon because I'm going to put this is my own flair I'm going to put in this, is some chipotles in adobo. Dude, I need some wireless. I need wireless headset so I can roam around. About to use up all of this. Oh, that is going to be so good. I'm just going to put in a spoonful because I want my wife to be able to eat this too. She'll be unhappy with me if I make it too spicy. We need to keep our spouse, our family members happy. They are a big part of who we are. Make our lives more interesting. Just a happier place. I don't know, 1 can. I'm afraid that if I put more in there, it might be a little too soupy. And to get everything, oh, I forgot the Rotel. Got to put the Rotel in there. Get my can opener. This is why people write things down. That's my imaginary can opener that I'm doing it handheld here. I don't know why. I'm doing it with I guess, counter space. I'll say that. Counter space is why I don't have a mechanical can opener. All right, I put in, let's recap here. I put in the Rotel, which is diced tomatoes and chilies. I did the original, so it's not too hot. It's not too mild. I put in 1 can of cream of jalapeno soup. I put in 1 can of cream of mushroom soup. And I think I told you that I put in 2 garlic cloves, a tablespoon and a half chili powder, a tablespoon of cumin, and 1 teaspoon of salt, and a half teaspoon of pepper. I'm glad I didn't put, without like even blinking, putting in 2 more cans of soup, because that would be a lot. And I think it would be too much, because this is kind of the volume that I use in my John Wayne casserole, and it makes a really healthy size casserole. I think as soon as we get this set, I think that is good. So a 9x13 casserole dish is what I'm grabbing next. And then I've got some of this, nonstick cooking spray, which in my case is olive oil. Spray olive oil. Let me do that real quick. I got kind of a clump in one spot, so I'm going to take a paper towel and kind of, I don't know if this is really necessary to put this in here, but I will. All right, I've got nonstick. My mixture is bubbling. That's looking good. Now I'm going to take some tostadas, but we're going to layer the bottom with these tostadas. I got a bum one there. That'll be a snack. So now we're coming together. So this is kind of my crust. Putting, I guess it'll be 6 across the bottom of the casserole dish. I think this is adequately mixed together. I'm going to turn that off. And I need a big honking spoon to kind of ladle that over these tostadas. Oh, I'm not going to have enough mix. I'm going to have to do this probably one big ass layer. That's okay. Improvisation. We're going to get the cheese, and I wanted to try to do a block cheese that's grated instead of me buying shredded cheese. That's a little bit of cheating. So I've got, 8 ounces of Monterey Jack and 8 ounces of cheddar, and I've mixed that together. And I'm going to put down a layer, very healthy layer of this here. And I should be saving probably about half of it for the top. That set, we're going to put in more tostadas. I haven't eaten many tostadas, actually. I should try this. It's pretty good. I've never had them. I mean, they're just giant tortilla chips, right? In the versions that I've seen, they've even used corn tortillas. Some people, my God, some people have too much time. They cut them up precisely, so they're little pyramids, no, triangles. I don't have much time, man. So I'm breaking this into bits. And I'm covering the top. And then we're going to put more cheese on top in my meat mixture that will kind of all go in there together. I'm getting so hungry. Yeah, my first application of tostadas. I feel like I would be making those little, what are those? The Taco Bell pizzas with tostadas. Maybe in a future episode. But, it always goes back to my utilization of game. This was, I think, 1 3/4 pound of elk meat, so you could use 2 pounds very easily. All right, I need probably one more. Get this corner done. I'm going to put the remainder of the cheese on it. We were so close. All right, I'm going to call that good, and the dogs will get what's left. And then I'm going to put this meat that I've reserved. We're going to sprinkle that over the top because it's all about making it look pretty, man. Oh, this is going to be the best thing ever. Awesome stuff. So, for those that are in the listening only mode, I put in a layer of tostadas on the bottom, put in a layer of this meat mixture that we've whipped up, Put a layer of cheese on top of that. Then put a layer of tostadas that I broke up. The first time I didn't break them. Broke up into pieces, kind of like tortilla chips. Layer that across the top. Sprinkled my cheese mixture, which I should have said is, I think I did half Monterey Jack and half cheddar and about 8 ounces of both. Put that in. Now I've got my this is kind of the beauty mix on top here. I've got meat and peppers and all of that. I'm going to put that in the oven at 350 for, we'll try 40 minutes. I'm going to cover it with foil. I'll probably take off the foil the last 5 minutes. Be right back. And welcome back. Okay, so it's been 35 minutes. I had this covered with aluminum foil for 30 minutes. Took it off for the last 5 to get kind of a brown on the top. Want to make sure that those crumbly bits didn't get burnt. And this is my concoction now, and this is completely freelance. Don't know if it's going to turn out. I've been letting it rest for 10 minutes. It's probably still atomic hot. So let me try to, I need a fork. Let me grab that. All right, fork in hand. And let me try to get a piece out here. You might be like, why did you pick the one in that corner? See if I can do this without too much of a mess. All right. Nuclear hot. Reminiscent of my John Wayne casserole. Let's give it a try. I think we have a hit. I'm very happy with that. That is fantastic. So, this is what it tastes like if an elk walked across King Ranch and got caught over there, and then the ranch hands were hungry. King Ranch casserole. I'll have the recipe. It's my original recipe, using a lot of other people's recipes. Right? Everybody's got a King Ranch recipe, King Ranch casserole recipe. But hey, it just goes to show, watch some other folks making food and try to make your own. Read some recipes. I have so many cookbooks, and come up with something original. Experiment, be bold, use your wild game meat. It is your responsibility when you get that animal. Go use him up and get ready for next year. So thank y'all. I appreciate you, and I hope everybody enjoy this, and let's be a better wild game cook together. Thank you.
I want you to know it's over.